Marty, President of HASCO Health and Safety Canada. I'm reading a court bulletin from the Ministry of Labour for the very first time and videotaping my reaction to it, and hopefully give you some advice if you were found in this position here. It's a supervisor fine, so it's worthwhile paying attention to. A worker, this is the backgrounder, a worker was using an overhead crane to load bundles of rebar onto a flatbed. The worker performed the task while standing on the floor, operating a pendant device to control the crane. A pendant is just a control cable, control device. The flatbed trailer was being loaded. Being loaded is called a gooseneck trailer because of its shape. It was parked inside the company's facility alongside another trailer, about 22 inches separating these two trailers, so just less than 2 feet. I think that might be normal, two trailers at a loading dock side by side. So that might be reasonable. The bundles of steel being loaded varied in size. Some bundles included long rebar that extended the length of the trailer's 26-foot flatbed position. As a result, a portion of these bundles rested at an incline on the gooseneck trailer. So I think it means they were off the back end of it, hanging off the back maybe. The worker was operating the remote device and placed a fourth bundle of bent steel rebar on the trailer and was standing between the trailers near the gooseneck section. While moving the bundle into place, two bundles fell off the trailer towards the worker. The bundles that fell consisted of rebar that which varied in length between about 9 to 30 feet and a total weight of about 950 pounds. The worker attempted to jump out of the way, but was unable to completely get clear of the falling load, and was struck on the hands by the larger rebar pieces. The worker was taken to the hospital. What do we have here? The company violated, they're going to go with Section 45B of the Industrial Reg 851, which means, which reads, you by failing to ensure that material was placed or stored so that the material would not tip, collapse, or fall. And that was a violation of Section 25(1)(c) of the Act as well. The company was fined a total of $30,000 plus the 25% surcharge that goes on top of that. A worker was assigned by a supervisor to work with two colleagues and process rebar into a specific shape. A machine called a rotary bender was regularly used to bend straight pieces of rebar at various angles. Because of the length of the rebar, it is manually fed between rollers. Though multiple workers are needed to handle the rebar, the machine is operated by a single worker with the use of foot-activated controls. The machine was equipped with a leveling pad about 6 inches long on which material would rest before being fed and drawn between the rollers. The original leveling pad had been worn down so that a 13-inch scrap piece of metal rested on the worn pad and was being regularly used with this machine. The scrap piece of metal was not secured into place. At the time of the incident, the worker was feeding rebar into the machine by hand and was adjusting a leveling plate located in front of the rollers of the bender table because it had started to shift. The plate was not fastened to the table and was moving. It was during this process that the worker was pulled by the rebar into the pinch point. This area was not equipped with a guard, and the worker suffered critical injuries. Critical injuries are really important because when it takes place, we can't mess around with the accident scene until the Ministry of Labour inspectors have dealt with it. During the summer, the Ministry of Labour inspector visited the workplace twice and issued a total of 18 orders. That's not unheard of, but that's a lot. That's crazy. You don't want to work at a place like that. You don't want your kids to be working at a place like that. The orders required equipment to be guarded and required the existing guarding to be properly maintained. The orders issued related to equipment being, including the bending machines located inside the building. The ministry did not issue orders for and did not specifically inspect the equipment located in the yard. So the company complied with all of those 18 orders for the machine located inside the establishment, but did not provide or install guards for the bender machine being used in the yard. Sounds like they're playing a little bit of a game here, wordsmanship, I guess. The company and its supervisor failed to comply with Section 24 of the Industrial Reg 851 by ensuring that the equipment with a guard and device was there to prevent access to a moving part that could endanger a worker. And thereby, what they violated was Section 25(1)(c) for the employer and 27(1)(a) for the supervisor. That's out of the act. So the company was fined $65,000 for the violation, and the supervisor was fined $2,000 for the violation, plus the 25% surcharge that goes on top of that. This company is in London, Ontario. The company designs, fabricates, and installs concrete reinforced steel or rebar and wire mesh for construction projects. So the worker was struck by and injured by material that fell from the loading dock, and received and another worker suffered a permanent injury while processing material in the machine. So seems like two offenses that took place around the same time. It was in December and January of the following year. So following the guilty plea, there was a fine, a total of $95,000 for the supervisor. For the company, and $2,000 for the supervisor. Let me see here. Yeah, and that's it. So a total of $97,000 in total. So that's quite a bit of money, plus 25% on top of that, plus all the other fees, court fees and lawyer fees and things like that. Well, I hope that you had some value in listening to this today. Obviously, we know that the guarding is an issue on the second incident, and the one with the truck, it might have been a situation where they didn't have enough zone, enough area. They didn't create a safe work environment around the truck. Because they mentioned the trucks were pretty close together, 22 inches, I think it said. That's probably played a role in it. But it's probably something to do with the hoisting of it, and any kind of overhead crane training, which HASCO, which we supply, has to be renewed about every 3 years or so. Okay, so over now.